was interrupted, I lost my train of thought. Now let me continue. Going back to growing your own food. Do you realize how much poundage of highly nutritious, medicinal food you can get out of something simple like straw using mushrooms? Do you realize the mass amounts of weight from straw that mushroom mycelium, as in the living tissue mushrooms sprout from, can convert into food, highly nutritious medicinal food that not only feeds you but keeps you healthy, food that when the mycelium is done digesting this block of straw or whatever can be used to make compost. If you care about the environment, you should care about gardening, you should care about permaculture, you should care about mushroom growing. These are important things. These are things that do make a difference. The fact is, when you grow your own food, you become empowered. You become decoupled from a massive food system that is polluting too much, that is too expensive, and that is often not affordable for many people. So when you brush off people talking about making a garden, I can't understand that. I can't understand that at all. And I know you want big change and, big changes. And I did too when I was younger. And I'm not trying to pull this, oh, I'm much older than you kind of thing. I don't even really know how old you are. I'm guessing 25, 26 tops. I'm about to turn 28. And I'm not a freaking genius philosopher king. A philosopher, but not a king. But, that being said, I've gotten used to the idea that change happens slowly. Do you know what kind of change happens quickly? Disaster. Disaster happens quickly. As far as social change, it always takes a long time. Do you think blacks got their rights overnight? Do you think women got the vote overnight? It takes time. It takes a struggle. Here's a quick example. People often complain, oh, Indians, they get this right and that right in Canada and they have privileges. You know what I say to these white people that complain about those things? I say, maybe if you stood up for something, you'd get something too. These people fought to have the privileges they have, to have the extra privileges they have. They fought for them. So, I know what you might say then. So why don't you fight? Well, I fight for what I believe in. I don't see eye to eye with you. I do think the environment is incredibly neglected as an issue, and it needs to be the issue. There is no real other issue. All issues feed off that issue. It's the mother of issues. Have and want, sick and healthy. The environment pretty much ties in all of our issues together, whether it is energy, food, quality of life, poverty. All of these things could be drastically improved with more of a focus on how we get our energy, how we get our food, how we get rid of our wastes. And I would argue that our wastes should always be something that feeds back into the grid, hence why I mentioned permaculture. So, when I was younger, and I'm not trying to paint you as an absolute child, but when I was younger, I wanted the changes to be big, and right fucking now. But that doesn't work. That is the anger and the frustration of a young idealist. It's important to have goals set out, and it's important to believe in things, but you have to be reasonable. For example, when you talk about decoupling from technology, that strikes me as childish. That strikes me as childish and backwards. Now, the reason I've often agreed with you, and even given your videos 5 stars often, and have supported you in other videos, then there's also that one I recorded that I didn't upload, but trust me, I went to bat for you on that one. But, you know what, you might think I'm lying, so I'll upload that soon. I just have to find it. I believe it actually had to do with that girl that was being really snotty one day, and the only reason I didn't do it on quick record was I wanted to actually put in some pictures, so I wanted it to be kind of funny as well. So I'll try to get that up soon. But the idea that we should turn our backs on technology is foolish in my eyes. I've had long arguments with friends of mine about this, both online and in person, and I am definitely a dark green environmentalist with some bright green leanings. I've explained what dark green, light green, and bright green environmentalism are in other videos, just really quickly. Light green is nonsense. It's like putting a fucking organic sticker on your fucking SUV. Dark green means we need deep systemic changes in the way we operate and do things, and bright green believes we can basically dig our way out of any hole we create through technology. Now, while the two ends of the spectrum, both light and bright, seem retarded, I sit in the middle while leaning towards the bright end of the spectrum. Because what I don't think some of you guys realize, some of you anti-civilization guys, and many of them happen to be my friends, I don't think you guys realize, or you don't care to have the compassion to think about these other people. What about the people that need insulin? What about the people, and you could argue, well, that's all natural selection. All those people fucking die. That's not good enough. That's fucking sick. That's extreme at that point. Now, I'm not calling you an extremist, but if you honestly believe that, you would be an extremist. That's what extremism is. You want something so bad that you're willing to justify horrible things. So, to me, a child who has asthma, who didn't want to be born into a world full of this kind of fucking pollution and all these problems, who didn't really cause any sort of large amount of the problems we're experiencing, this child with asthma, say there's an energy crash, can't get their medication, and they suffer for a few days, not being able to breathe as well, and then one day, rolls around, the attack is too strong, and they die. That's too much for me. That, I care about the environment, but I'm not fucking insane. Not that I'm saying you are, but anyone that believes that is an extremist. So, I have a lot of videos coming out that I've been working really hard on about the potential of mushrooms, both to heal our environment and to produce food for the human species, the potential of permaculture and proper organic gardening. I'm going to upload those soon. I'm getting a little not sick, but I'm getting a little bored with some of the deeper philosophy battles I've been going through. And really, I don't give a shit what someone believes about God. I care how we're going to live together on this planet. I could care less what someone believes about God. Yes, religion does have negative effects when it builds up, and yeah, I'm not brushing that off. But I think more than a big philosophical awakening to the idea of religion being nonsense, I think what's more necessary is an environmental awakening to the fact that we don't have much time left on this planet as a species if we don't pay attention to the way we are using our resources. And yes, we could have time left. There could be humans and cockroaches and maybe some cats and dogs and some pigeons and people eating garbage and, maybe even some people growing their own food. But I don't want to live in a Mad Max-like society. Don't dismiss the potential of growing your own food. Don't dismiss the potential of everyday actions. It's when you dismiss that you make the average person think that they shouldn't even bother. Because what you're asking is too hard or too much or whatever. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, fuck that. Everybody should do more. No, the people that are willing to do anything, you should have those people on your side. The people that are willing to grow their own food, that should be encouraged, not laughed off in an elitist fashion, like, oh, growing your own food, that's not enough. Fucking what is? Nothing is enough. Nothing will ever be enough to make the world perfect. But growing your own food is by far one of the most empowering, environmentally beneficial things you can do. I can't stand the fact that you would brush something like that off. That makes no sense to me. I'll really hit this a lot harder and with a lot more detail in another video. I hate doing quick record. I always feel like I have to stop and think about what I'm going to say next, and I'm really not going to encapsulate everything I want to right here. But I will say this. Growing your own food is one of the most empowering things a human being can do. Period.